Hello, women of the Channel Leadership Network. I'm Jackie Rives, your community leader, and welcome to another Woman of the Week. This week, I am thrilled to be introducing you to Kelsey Williams Banks, Director of OT Channel Marketing with Fortinet. Hi, Kelsey. Thank you so much for being here today.
Hi, Jackie. I'm thrilled to chat with you today.
I am as well. I can't wait to get to know you a little bit. So let's start off with those icebreaker questions. Where do you live in this really cool room that you're in? And where did you grow up, if that's something somewhere different?
So I live in a suburb in Cleveland, Ohio area. And then I grew up just an hour south of Cleveland in a town called Canton, Ohio. And if that town is ringing a bell for some of those watching, that's because Canton is home to the Professional Football Hall of Fame. So who knows, maybe you were dragged there on a family vacation once, but just a little trivia fact for you, Jackie.
I love it. I love it. I'm sure that my husband knows exactly where that is, especially since he is from Ohio and doesn't mind telling every single person in the world whenever he sees someone wearing Ohio State shirt.
I love
All
it.
right. What is a little known fact about you that you don't mind sharing?
Yes, I am a gearhead, meaning I love cars, the sporty little zippy
Hmm.
things, all the way to the wild and exotic cars. However, so my disclaimer here, Jackie, is that I am just a fan. I admire them from a very comfortable distance. And I have a very practical mom car out in the garage, and it's actually littered with kids' toys. So it's basically the furthest thing possible from a fun, sporty car. But a gal can dream, I guess.
I love that, Kelsey. That's pretty funny. And that you kind of love it from afar.
Yes.
That's pretty awesome. All right. Well, let's dive into some of those professional questions. So, tell us a little bit about your career path and how you reached the position you're in today.
Yeah. So I would say my career path has not been a traditional or a linear trajectory. So I cut my teeth in marketing for a very large luxury hospitality company. It
Hmm.
was fun, it was glamorous, and that's where I decided that marketing was really my passion. And then from there, I traded in my nice suits and those fancy high heels for steel toed boots because why wouldn't you, right? And I,
Wow.
so a little bit of a change. And I went to work for a global industrial automation company. So definitely a big jump, but I loved
Mhm.
it. I loved every second of it. And so it was at that particular company where I saw that their partners could really take off, really take flight with just a little bit of marketing support and strategy. So I took a big risk and I pushed my leadership to support these partners with marketing. And that could have totally blown up in my face. But thankfully, someone heard me out and it opened the door for me with new roles based solely on channel marketing. And I was able to launch new programs. I developed my expertise. And then most importantly, I was able to support those partners. So, okay, let's fast forward a little bit. And I took another leap. I left industrial automation for cybersecurity. So at Fortinet, I am focused on marketing efforts with our operational technology, AKA OT partners. So I'm still working with partners in the industrial automation space, but now I'm focused on cybersecurity. So think about OT environments like water treatment plants or food and beverage operations, or even my favorite car company, their production line. Basically,
Mm.
those companies, they're keeping my family running in the background, right? Those companies fall under the OT umbrella. So we're focused on helping them to be cyber secure. And I consider it an absolute privilege to be helping those who have boots on the ground in critical infrastructure.
Oh, that I love your path. I love that you gave us a little bit of something that we can relate to in understanding your career better. That's pretty cool. And what I'm hearing is you enjoy maybe the risk of doing something different and or even introducing something that you want to do. So what is the most important risk that you took and
Ooh.
why?
That's such a good question. So, yeah, I did mention the risk of pushing for new roles and programs
Mhm.
to support the channel. But if I were to take a step back and look at my entire career, I think the biggest risks I have taken have been leaving my comfort zone and starting completely fresh in new and very unfamiliar industries. So when I left luxury hospitality, and then again when I left industrial automation for cybersecurity, each time that I went into a new field, it kind of felt like it was the first day of school and I'm showing up to class and I'm ready to learn and try something different. So I would say the outcome of that would be I had new experiences, new adventures, new failures, but new learnings. And so what made those risks a little more comfortable for me was that even though the field and the company may have been new to me, I had a secret weapon, if you will. I had something in my back pocket, which I lovingly refer to as my marketing toolkit. So all that knowledge that I collected over time in whatever role, whatever job, whatever industry. And so I have my toolkit that I've been carrying with me and filling each day with new experiences. And then when I was ready to take on that next risk, I was ready to learn more and add to that toolkit. So if anybody is stumbling upon this video, I would just say, take a risk. Apply your toolkit in a new and interesting way. It could be a project at work. It could be volunteering, or in my case, it would be jumping in feet first into a brand new industry.
I love that, and I absolutely love the analogy of bringing your toolkit even in these new experiences.
Mhm.
But with these new experiences, sometimes, right, we start to question our abilities, qualifications. How can we take on this new role? Have you ever found yourself in that position? And how did
Mm.
you deal with it?
Yeah. So wait, let's see. It's the afternoon. So yeah, I've already questioned myself once or twice already today because that's just the world we live in, right? So
Yes.
I am still pushing past that imposter syndrome. I identified that I am not an expert in all things, nor do I want to be, honestly. I have my niche, but I do know that there are really smart people around me that I can pick their brain and have a better understanding. So I will say, to answer your question, I grappled with and questioned my qualifications really quite frequently early in my career. So I'd say probably 95% of the time, I would show up to a meeting and I would be the only woman sitting in that meeting. And it would feel daunting to me. I had to deal with being interrupted, being spoken over, someone wanting to pontificate for 29 minutes of a 30-minute meeting, right? And I internalized that as I'm not knowledgeable enough. I must not have the right answers. So, to answer your question, how did I deal with that? I continued to show up first and foremost. I walked into those meeting rooms. I somehow developed a thicker skin and I started to ask questions. I started to poke holes. I started to push back on certain concepts. And so by continually showing up, being present, being involved, I realized that, hey, wait a minute. I do know what I'm talking about in my area of expertise.
Mhm.
And those louder voices in the room, well, they're not always the best, or maybe they're not always the right voice. So once that clicked for me, I started making it a point to make sure my voice and my opinions were heard, not only heard, but processed by others in the room. Very quickly, Jackie, I want to tell you, you might remember this. There was a Harvard Business Review article a few years back, and it talked about how women will only apply for a job if they are 100% qualified, if they meet
Mhm.
every single qualification, whereas men will go after a job if they meet only 60% of the qualifications. So what I'm getting at here is I don't want us women limiting ourselves. We are qualified. Heck, we are overqualified in some cases. So if I can plant the little seed of inspiration for anyone, I'd say, let's get after it. We are more qualified than we perceive ourselves to be. So let's go after a new project. Let's go after that new account. Or for me and my learnings, let's speak up in those meetings.
I love it. I love the inspiration that you're giving along with this and calling those things out. I think we have time, a little bit, for one more question. I just feel like this is a good place for us to kind of wrap our interview up with you. And that is, what or who do you look for inspiration or mentorship?
Oh, I love this question. Okay, so this is not a new concept, but I love the board of directors approach. So you
Mm.
don't lean on one mentor, but you have a table full of mentors, and they all have different areas of expertise and backgrounds. So on my board of directors, I have my colleagues, I have leaders from different areas of my company or past companies, my friends, and then, of course, my family. And then to answer your inspiration question, seeing people fired up and passionate about things also helps ignite me. So I don't have to look far. My husband, he's an MVP at work, but when he walks in the door, he turns into the MVD, the most valuable dad. And he is so passionate about that. My parents, they were wildly successful, and I got to see them be passionate about their careers. But then I would say, okay, work, family, that's great. But then for those of us who have a passion project, that's also something to really look into. So, for example, I have a dear friend who is a big deal in the branding world, and she decided to go out and create her own podcast. It's awesome. It's called Corner Office Breakdowns. And I like it because it helps women navigating the workplace without losing your sense of self, basically. So I just thought, how cool is it and how helpful is it that I have all of these people around me, my board of directors and those who inspire me. They keep me motivated, they keep me humbled, and they help to fuel me to make that big risk once in a while.
Oh my gosh, Kelsey, I could keep talking forever right now. Like, I feel like that 10, it's been 12 minutes. I feel like it just goes by so fast. Thank you
Yes.
so much for sharing a little of your story with all of us and allowing us to celebrate you as our Woman of the Week.
Thank you so much, Jackie.
All right, community members, please do comment, give Kelsey your high five, share your tips and tricks, and happy Wednesday.